Okay, here we go. No posts, no dogs, no workers, no plasterers. Husband is out. Hannah's upstairs. Actually, I've got dogs laying down. Let's do this. Welcome to the Sheep and Cheerful podcast, episode number 39. And today is, not sure because I didn't check, but it's Friday. My name is Nicky and I am your hostess and CEO of All Things Sheep and Cheerful. This is my little podcast about my creations, my creativity, and sort of sharing with you how I spend my creative hours and keeping as cheerful as possible. So welcome to anyone who's coming back for more of the crazy, and welcome to all the new viewers. We picked up a few new viewers from last week. Clearly the clearly the professionalness of last week's episode drew in a lot of new viewers. So I mean, what can I say? When you've got it, you've got it. Yeah, moving swiftly on. What else do I need to tell you? I live in the south coast of the United Kingdom, right down the bottom. Well, down southeast bottom, not Cornwall bottom. Why I'm talking about Cornwall's bottom is anyone's guess. But anyway, I live down on the coast with my husband and with one of my two children, Hannah, who many of you will have seen in our vlogs. And as you know, Jonah, my son, now lives down near Southampton, Portsmouth, sort of in between there somewhere, and is now living and working down there. We have our two dogs, Honey and Henry, who are my English Springer Spaniels and who are currently laying down and settled, but we'll see how long that lasts for. And not forgetting Gilbert. Hannah got quite cross with me last week because I didn't mention Gilbert. Gilbert is Hannah's chinchilla, although he's kind of the family chinchilla really, and we absolutely adore him. He's so gorgeous. I am pretty much decided to jump in with Vlogmas, and if I do Vlogmas, you can be sure you'll be seeing some footage of Gilbert and also plenty of the dogs, because the dogs and me, we's like that, innit? Often their choice, not mine, but there you go. Right, so that's it. You can find me on Instagram as Clara Peggotty. You can find me on Ravelry as Nicky Winterton. And we have a podcast group, a chatter group on Ravelry, which I mentioned last week. I was going to try and, get going again. So that's the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. If you go to the group section on Ravelry, you'll be able to find that. There's a welcome sort of thread that is lovely to have new people popping in and saying hello. And I have also put up a discussion thread called Segment Ideas, because what I would really like to do is each week to try and have a little segment where I talk about certain things, preferably related to crafting, but if you want a lesson on Pythagoras' theorem, it's fine by me. So yes, we've got a suggestion in there already, thank you very much. And if anybody wants some tips or tricks or some ideas, or for example different shawl shapes, or want me, I've talked about yarn construction in the past. I can talk about yarn construction, about different techniques, anything. I'm quite a kind of a sheep wool lover. So if you want to know anything about different breeds or what yarn is suitable for what, anything like that, even if you want to know about sock knitting in general or wool wash or anything like that, pop over to the Ravelry group, pop it in the suggestion thread, and I'll work through it. And I would love that. I'd love to be able to find out lots of info to share with you, because that's one of my favourite things. For those of you, again, who don't know, I homeschooled both my children from the age of about 7 through till, well, with Joe, it was till he was 16. Hannah, arguably, I'm still homeschooling. She's at university now, but she commutes, so she's still at home. But Hannah, yeah, went right through to A-levels with Hannah, and it was great. So I love learning. I love finding stuff out. So yeah, let's go on a learning journey together. That would be really cool. Right. So is that all I've got to tell you? Oh no, something else I've done just to prove my intention to commit to you. This is my sign of commitment. I have created an email address for the podcast. So if you wish to contact me, if you wish to, well, just contact me really for a chat. I'm always on the lookout for donations, for giveaways and prizes. I really like to be able to do that. I've actually got another giveaway today. Do drop me an email, and it is to the sheepandcheerfulpodcast@gmail.com. And I'll put the link or the details down below. So it's Sheep and Cheerful Podcast. I don't think it's the Sheep and Cheerful. I think it's just Sheep and Cheerful Podcast @gmail.com. But I will, yeah, I'll check that. I did it yesterday, and yesterday could be like 30 years ago for all my memory is. So I'll check it and I'll put it down there. So yes, always welcome any prizes or donations or... Okay, I'll be back. Here's the thing, right? Not only do the dogs bark and interrupt my podcast, it's not even like there's a parcel for me outside. They were barking at the next door neighbours. I really think that's a little bit pants. Yeah, you can slope off now, Henry. They think, oh, let's go back to the front room and we can look at and we can bark a bit more. Anyway, I think, as I say, it's all part of the professionalness of this whole show. Right, what have I got there? Blah, blah, blah. I talked about email, didn't I? Let's talk about what I'm wearing, shall we? More to the point, I will talk about what I'm wearing. This is an older project of mine, finished a couple of years ago, and it is the Flea Cardigan from Pinneguri, who is known as the Flea Lady, not the Fly Lady, the Flea Lady, on Ravelry. I will stand up. So, let's get my rights from my wrongs. As you can see, it's beautiful, beautiful fit. It's got this beautiful colour work yoke here, and then the little fleas, which is the contrast colour, as you can see around there, all the way around it. Come a little bit closer, there you go. So this is a steeked pattern, so you knit it in the round. So if you're looking at it thinking, I can't purl those, you don't have to. And then you can see, you then steek it. Now it's interesting actually with this one. I'm just gonna, excuse me a sec. Closing the back door, so that plan didn't work. Yeah, so it's steeped, and yeah, the interesting thing about this one is that it's the first time I ever stitched on the button band before I cut the steek. Let me take it off. Oh, I can show off my, it's not show my boobs at you, look. Never too early for fairy lights. And hand knit sweaters. Does it say that? Yes. And hand knit sweaters. I had this printed on one of those. Hello. design yourself t-shirt things, because I do love my little Christmas t-shirts. Right, so what was I saying? Steeking. Yeah, so normally what I'd done hitherto, because I've made quite a few steeked cardigans. I made a steeked blanket. I'll show you that one day. I always cut the steek first, then I pick up the stitches and then sew a stitch on the button band, knit on the button band. But this one, I was doing it, I think it might have been part of a knit along for Skein Deer back in the day when she wasn't quite such a prolific designer as she is now. And everybody there suggested that actually you don't cut the steek. You don't cut the steek until you've actually knitted the button band. So I had it in the round, sort of, I don't think I'm going to be able to demonstrate this terribly well. Okay, so let's pretend that this is the front. You've got your steek stitches here. So I picked up the button band stitches on one side of the steek stitches. And knit the button band. Then I picked up the other side. Then when they were both knit, I cut it. And it's great. It was really good way to do it. So, yeah, and then when I do steeks, I tend to use a crochet reinforcement. So my steeks are never particularly tidy. But you can see there, I haven't put a ribbon, my hair is falling out, a ribbon or anything to cover that. I was quite happy with that as it is. This is the Rauma Finullgarn, fingering weight. So I bought this, I didn't buy it from Ysolda, I bought it actually from Rauma direct, I think, and it wasn't super expensive, I'm pretty sure, to ship over. The wool itself is really reasonable, but you could use Holstgarn. That's another really good one. And I know Millet Tribe Yarns has got a whole stack of Holstgarn in. It would be one that you could probably use the Holstgarn super soft and hold it double to get fingering weight, because the Holstgarn is a bit, it's a very thin fingering weight. So yeah, you could knit this really reasonably. And it's lovely, it's a good old favourite, and it's worn really well. And you can see, actually, apart from the dog hairs, for which I apologise, there's not a lot of pilling going on. I mean, there is a bit, but this is probably, 2-3 years old. Whereas when I knit with merino or anything like that, it's like whoosh, fluffsville. So, anyway, that was what I'm wearing, or what I was wearing, not what I'm wearing now. Okay, prize winners. Should we get into prize winners, I think, or shall I do that at the end? Do you know what? I'm going to do that at the end, because then people who didn't enter or new viewers can then skip past it if you want to. I still feel like I'm on the wonk, because if you look at my writing here, this, I need to be like that. So either I'm wonky or the camera is wonky. Okay, exciting news. Does anybody know what Sunday is? This coming Sunday. And if I was half a decent podcaster, I would know the date. It's going to have to be the 21st. Is it? My calendar's over there. Yeah, the 21st, Sunday the 21st. It is Stir 'em Up Sunday. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, I think it's probably a UK tradition, but Stir 'em Up Sunday is the traditional day in November. That's the dishwasher, now deciding to beep at me. Thank you. That's what happens when I podcast in the kitchen. When I used to be in the front room, it was so much better. Oh well. Stir 'em Up Sunday, the traditional day that you make your Christmas pud. Make your Christmas pudding on Sunday. But don't forget, you're supposed to soak the fruit overnight, the night before. So last year I got caught out because stir them up Sunday, I thought, right, let's get this made. And it was like soak the fruit overnight. Oh, so I put all the dry ingredients and stirred it and then soaked the fruit and then made it on the Monday. But yes, so I'm going to be making our Christmas pudding on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. It's great because Mum and Dad will come up Saturday, so I can get them to stir it as well. And again, traditionally, you stir the Christmas pud and you make a wish. And it's all lovely. And I think that's when I might actually start the whole Christmas vibey thing going on. I think I'm going to be ready for Christmas shortly, or for Christmas anticipation shortly. And talking of that, I will also be I'm starting two things December the 1st. There'll be a new make-along, which I will tell you about later, but I'll also be starting my annual rereading of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I know many of you for the last couple of years have read along with me, and we've so enjoyed it. So I will be starting again to read that, so I would invite you all to dig out your copies of Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens and give that a read. And we always get it read before Christmas because it's such a short little novel, but it's part of Christmas tradition here at Sheep and Cheerful, so that's what we'll be doing. We've got another Sunday week is the first Sunday of Advent. Perhaps I'll start it that week, not sure yet. And then it will be obviously the following week. The first Sunday of Advent is still in November. It's November the 28th, because I just added 7 to 21. So yes, there are two, there's lots of exciting things coming up. So that's that. Shall we talk a bit more about knitting now? Talked about my cardigan. Right, let's show you a finished object. I have two finished objects to share with you. So not quite as finished object heavy as last week, but then last week was the first podcast in some time, wasn't it? So I reach over to my little baskety thing I've got there. My first finished objet is the knitting at the library cowl. I'll bring it close so it's right in your grill. I think this has come out really pretty. I haven't blocked it yet, so the bit where you can see that bit has pulled in slightly. This stitch pattern is a little bit more bulgy. It's a bit like me, really. Bulgying in. I'm going to put it on, even though this is a gift, it's not for me. But I think what's nice about this is that it just sits perfectly. It's not too big, not too small. It's a Goldilocks. It's a Goldilocks cowl. There you go. I think that's really lovely. And as I said before, it's the yarn is not at all irritating on the neck. There you go. So it's an easy one. The young lady for whom I have made this, Jonah's girlfriend, cycles everywhere. So rather than having a scarf, which would be dangerous because it'll flap around when you're cycling, I thought this would be really good to put under her coat. So I will block it and make it straight, but it's really, really lovely. And it was a really enjoyable knit as well. So the pattern is the Knitting at the Library Cowl by Cori Eichelberger. Come on, let's get the right name. Cori, I'm so sorry, but it is Eichelberger, I got it right. Who is Irocknits and Knit Cahoots as well. She has lots of patterns out. And I think I said to you last week, she has a cracking Instagram feed because she puts tips and tricks up all the time. So that was the picture. And you can knit it in fingering weight yarn, worsted weight yarn, basically whatever yarn you like. You can put as many colour stripes in as you like, so it will be a great scrappy project. I knit mine in West Yorkshire Spinners Colour Lab DK, which is 100% British wool. And I used, I think, 4.5 or 5mm needles. Yeah, I used 5mm needles. So So, and it's just really, it's sturdy, but it's soft, it's nice. I really like this. Might use this yarn again. I think I said that last week. If you want details of the colourways, hop back to last week's episode. They're in the show notes. But it's basically, I chose 3 colours. I chose this blue, which I think is called True Blue or something like that. This one, and then this one, which is self-striping, and it obviously incorporates these 2 colours, so it works really well. And the ribby, the side, is just the main colour. It's this blue here. So what else can I tell you about this? I can't, this is just so lovely. Such a nice Christmas knit as well. Be lovely to do it in. You could do it in, you know, bright colours, in tonals. You could do a monochromatic in sort of greys. Why do you want to do it in grey? But a lot of people love grey. I know that I'm the odd one out there. So, but yeah, and it is all different. It's a good learning curve because you've got all the different stitch patterns. So you've got that one, the cable there, which is a cable needle less one. You've got an eye partridge pattern, you've got a slip stitch pattern, and then you've got your twisted rib. So it is a paid for pattern, but it's I can highly recommend this to you. So that's that finished. That is gift knitting as well. So that ticks a couple of boxes. Pop that there. Right, the next thing I finished is entirely it's not excuse me, I shouldn't say unexciting, should I? I did finish another dishcloth. There you go, using Grandma's favourite dishcloth pattern. Lovely, straightforward knit. That's dishcloth number 4. I've started, this was from some lovely drops yarn that my lovely friend Gaynor, Tales from Cuckoo Land Gaynor, I'm sure you all know her, she sent me that she'd had in her stash for ages because I was chatting to her about a soft cotton, because I also want to make face cloths. So this might actually, no, this will be a dishcloth, but I have cast on a face washcloth, and I might make a face washcloth with one of the colours she sent me as well, because these are all little gifts I'm going to be giving to a friend. But I'm giving her dishcloth and face cloths, so I have to make them different enough so that she doesn't get them. Excuse me. Right, sorry, you laugh at your own jokes. Oh dear. Okay, that was that finished object. My next finished object is a little bit more exciting. It's right here, but it's not. They're not on sock blockers, but this is relevant. I will chat casually as I put these onto sock blockers. This is relevant to the giveaway this week, or last week's giveaway, because I have finished a pair of the Saint Nick socks by So Sweet Violet, who is my gorgeous girly Jooles. Hang on, let's get these looking beautiful. My sock blockers, oh no, we're all right. I thought they were a little bit, because these are quite a small pair of socks, because this is gift knitting as well. So it's the Saint Nick socks. These are out, the pattern is out on Ravelry and in Jooles' shop, I believe, sosweetviolet.co.uk. Incidentally, she's got so many little knickknacks and bits and bobs in her shop, and quite a few of them are reduced, so you should hop over there. And if you're anything like me, like lots of us, you contribute bits and bobs to your own Christmas stocking, so you could always buy some and just give them to your husband or your daughter or whatever to say, look, pop those in my stocking. Anyway, this is not sponsored by So Sweet Violet. Ta-da! It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Do, 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 do. Okay, you get that bit for free. There you go. Look at those. I mean, who wouldn't want a pair of those this Christmas time? That's a rhetorical question, so if you're shouting at the screen, I can't hear you. Oh, there's a hair. There you go. So, I mean, these are just so lovely. Again, I talked about them at length last week. It's the St. Nick sock. It's a toe up. It's a toe up DK weight. I'm like a baby who's just seen themselves a reflection in the mirror for the first time. So, toe up DK weight socks. I have knit it using Lay Family Yarn Santa sock set, which gives you this fabulous red and a mini of this DK boot clay. There. But of course you can knit them in any colours you like. I think I mentioned last week as well, another friend of ours said she was going to do them in a pale pink and then a cream mohair fluffy turnover cuff, which would make it look like a Mrs. Claus pair. Oh, this is, yeah, obviously a turnover cuff, turn down cuff. So you've got that ribbing in the red and then ribbing that you turn down in the boot clay. And I have knit these as a shorty pair. They're not written as a shorty pair, but the recipient prefers shorty socks, and I thought these were just perfect. So they're knit, I can't tell you what size needle I used, but I went down a needle size because my gauge is I went up a needle size because my gauge is quite tight. And I knit the small size. It's Jooles Go Day Heel, which I realised last week, because I was talking about it, is actually named for the Go Day in tailoring. So I was proud of myself for making that association. And her beanie toe, which I really like. So, and it's also a good value pattern because it's a great master pattern for a pair of DK weight socks. So it's great, worth having that in your library, I would say. If you entered the giveaway last week, as many of you did, thank you very much. 2 of you will be receiving this pattern as a gift from me to you. Actually, it's a gift from Jooles because she contacted me and she said, I'm going to donate those patterns. So thank you, Jooles. That's really kind of you. So I would then get her, or we will gift them through to the winners via Ravelry or whichever electronic system the winners prefer. Right, so that was my other finished object. Let's pop that there. Oh, I had those in this really sweet project bag that I snagged off of Rachel from So Ray Me UK on Etsy. It's an autumnal one. Can you see that? It's so lovely. It's something to do with... Oh no, there's all sorts of different bits. All sorts of facts, because there, you can see there's a bit on it about Charles Dickens. You probably can't read that. But anyway, it's really lovely. Really very lightweight, which I really like. I believe it's got a bit of wadding, but not interfaced, and I really like that. And look at that lovely gingham interior. It goes beautifully. And I will put, oh, there's Rachel's little stamp in there. But I'll put the details down below. She most often has project bags in her shop, but sometimes you have to be really quick to snag them because they go quickly. So, right, that is that. Okay. Shall we talk? Okay, I've got some pseudo-finished objects to talk to you about. Last week I showed you a picture of my mum in her almost finished Anker's cardigan by PetiteKnits, and I put it on Instagram, and oh my goodness, the response nearly blew me away. To be honest, it was a little bit harsh because she got so many likes. I never get that many likes. I read all the comments to her, and she didn't know what to make of it. She was so excited by it all. My dad was having 40 fits of laughter because I was reading the comments and I was like, they never said that to me. Why does anybody say that to me? So, but it was fantastic. So I have got, for those of you who didn't see the the finished pictures on Instagram. I'll put some in here actually. So I'm at, oh, I can do 22, that's at 22 minutes. I will get to grips with how to inlay pictures, hopefully here or here, somewhere there. If not, it will just be on the screen. But she finished it and it's cracking. It's so great. And she put, I think I spoke last week about the ribbon she was going to put on the button band. She did that, sewed on the buttons in pairs actually, which looked really effective. And it's just fantastic. So thank you for all your Instagram love and all your YouTube love for that. She has, or this week we have cast her on, or I've cast on, no, she's cast on, but I have furnished it. I've enabled her to cast on a new cardigan. She has just cast on the Ysolda cardigan. And again, if I possibly can, I will put a picture of the pattern. I absolutely love it. I actually bought the kit for myself. Showed Mum, she fell in love with it, so I've given it to her. She's swiping all my yarn. It's like there's something going on there, but never mind. I'll put a picture in there and I'll keep you in progress. I'll keep you updated with that. It's quite a tricky one. Again, she's not, the Anker cardigan was the first one she'd knit top down. She's never knit a cardigan in one piece, in seamless. So she's never done the top down raglan shaping before. So many things she hadn't done before. And again, this one, the cardigan is knit top down. It's also got a stitch pattern which goes throughout. She's got to cope with the raglan increases again. So, but the good news is it's a chunky yarn. So I said to her she'll have it done by Christmas. So we'll have to wait and see. But I will keep you posted on that. And hopefully you'll have seen some pictures, which is great. The other thing that I knit, Mum and I have got a bit of a teamwork, makes the dream work thing go on with the Musselburgh hats. You know, last week I showed you a Musselburgh hat that I had finished that Mum had knit for me. And we decided it would be really great for her to knit those hats for my nieces or her two of her grandchildren for Christmas, who won't watch the podcast, so we're okay. We're all good there. Yeah, that's honey having a drink. So what she liked about that is, for those of you who don't know, the Musselburgh hat is knit in the round and it's a double thickness hat. So it's a lot of stockinette in the round, no shaping, no increasing. Honey's just put her head on my lap from having drunk water. So I've now got wet patch seeping through my trousers. Lovely. Fortunately, I've already stood up to show you my sweater, so I don't have to stand up again. Yes, so what I do is I cast on the beginning of the Musselburgh hat. I do all the increases, then I hand it over to Mum. She knits the length, and that's what I was saying, wasn't it? She really likes, especially if she's got a complicated cardigan on the go, she likes to have something that's easy to pick up and knit. A bit like we might carry a sock or have something easy to knit. The Musselburgh hat is kind of like a vanilla hat, really, isn't it? And she loves to be able to just pick that up and knit a few rounds without having to think about it too much. So she then will have that for however many weeks she needs it to do the 18 odd inches of stockinette tubing. She hands it back to me. I finish it, do the decreases, cast off, and then she'll have the hat. So she's been working on one. We made a plan. And both of these for my nieces, they're very, very lovely, very elegant young women. One of them is 27, 28 now, and one is 24, Hannah's age. So I chose some yarn again from Stash. This is my yarn. Right? Just saying. Not getting antsy about it. I'm just saying. Both of these colourways are Birdstreet Yarn, which I bought back in the summer. And it is their Hiddleston 4-ply, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 100 grams, 425 metres. So I will first of all show you the one that is nearly finished. If I had been any kind of good daughter or good knitter, I would have got this cast off in readiness for the podcast, but I got distracted yesterday and knit on other things. So there you go. The colourway is this beautiful colourway. Can you see? I think it's a really pale mint green and it's called Chiffon, which is such a good name. It really is that. It is almost translucent. Why is the focus thing gone there? Look, they're chasing it around the viewfinder. Anyway, you'll see it. So that's Chiffon, and here is the almost completed sausage. Musselburgh Hat. So there you go. I think that's coming up pretty true to colour on the screen. So as I say, I cast it on because I use, the pattern suggests Emily Ocker's cast on. So you start in the middle there and increase outwards. You can see the cross of the increases. And then you knit plain, 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 plain to just before there. And then you do the decreases. And then you double the hat. I'm sure most of you probably know this. The hat then, vaguely, sort of doubles into itself, and then you can turn up the brim. So it is so squishy and warm, and we will probably get some a white pom-pom to go on the top, I think. So Mum has knit all of that. I did the first bit, honest, and I'm going to do the casting off. And that's in the Chiffon colourway by Birdstreet UK. Also, it's a paid-for pattern, but the way it's written is really quite clever in that, by Ysolda Teague, I should say, you knit all the increases on whatever size needles is your standard. So you guess for gauge, you think, right, it'll be that, but then you count your gauge. You work out your gauge once you've knit the beginning and change if you need to the appropriate size needles. So I use 3mm needles, and that seems to work well for my cast on. Mum is a looser knitter than I, but I cast on a few less stitches so that will allow it, rather than faffing around changing needles when I swap with her. And yeah, I think that's, I just spotted a weird thing there. I think she might have, anyway, that's fine. The good thing as well is if you spot weird things like that, you can make that the inside bit of the hat. So, so that's the first one. That will be finished this weekend. And I have cast on, and that's what I did do this yesterday, the next one for my other niece. And this is in Birdstreet UK yarn. I've shown you the thing. And this is in the Candy colourway, which is that. So you can tell when I bought these, I was all about the pastels. That's a really pretty pink. So, do you remember the film Pretty in Pink? The 80s, Molly Ringwald. Love that film. Was it Andrew McCarthy? I had such a crush on Andrew McCarthy when I was a teenager. Oh, he was lovely. Anyway, so this is as far as I've got. So I've knit, can you see how this? Our mum got this, I love peanuts, and she got this progress keeper with a magazine, and she left it on this hat, so I thought, oh, I love that, but it will go back to her. This is my Christmas progress keeper. I can't remember where that came from, that little mitten. Anyway, so yeah, there's my cast on. So I've got the right number of stitches now. So this is going to go back to my mum, and she is going to finish that, no doubt, very quickly, because she does whiz out the old knitting. And these I've got in a project bag. Those of you who were watching the podcast last year might remember. It's got a few odds and ends. This is a project bag that I made. I bought the fabric and made this. I made a few actually, and I think I did sell a few. Live freely, animated and motivated by God's Spirit. Galatians 5:16. Such pretty fabric. And it's just got a plain, I didn't finish this properly because this one was for me, so I'm not going to show you the middle. And then just a drawstring. So that's my little bag, and that's the one that goes backwards and forwards between me and Mum with the Musselburgh hats. So that's that. Right. What are we on to next? I've talked about that. Talked about, oh, I didn't talk about the yarn for Mum's cardigan, didn't I? But never mind. Let's go on to some whips. Now, I know the Musselburgh hats were whips really, but yeah, I've got them in the wrong section. Never mind. I started, many of you will know, I had a real sweater kick the last couple of months, and I've knocked out 4 sweaters, 2 pullovers and 2 cardigans. And then I had 2 more, I've got quite a few in my queue still as well. I had 2 more to start, and then I decided that come November I would actually focus on gift knitting and smaller items, and then pick up my sweaters again in December. Also, I don't know if you remember, I mentioned last week, I've been having problems with my my upper right arm. It's been really painful, it's spasms, I can't stretch or reach or do anything like that. And even when I'm knitting, it hurts, it can hurt. So I have been knitting on smaller things, hence the dishcloths and socks and things like that. But I did see a physiotherapist on Monday, and I went to see her. Really lovely lady, and explained what the matter was, explained that I spend a lot of time knitting and sewing and so on. And what it basically is, she told me that my neck and my shoulders are so tight. Now, I always carry tension in my neck and shoulders, I have done for donkey's years, and I'm sure many of you do as well. But they are so tight that they're actually pulling my shoulder joint slightly askew, because they're not relaxed enough to let my shoulder sit properly in its socket, which is then impacting everything running down here. So I need to relax. They go, cured. Anybody know how I can relax? And the silly thing is, I'm fine. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, life is hard. Life is really tough. We've been thrown quite a few curveballs of late, but, you know, it's fine, it's all good. But my neck and shoulders never get the memo to say that I'm okay and that I don't need to be uptight and stressed. So they have got so tight like that they're stopping my shoulder from doing its job properly. So I've got a set of stretches that I have to do, and I've got to try and do sort of meditative, relaxation-y type things. Unfortunately, my best meditation is knitting, but that doesn't count because my head's down and my arm's being used. What a joker. Anyway, I digress. That is why I moved on to smaller things, but I am going to show you the sweaters I've got on the needles, because they are rather lovely. Of course they're rather lovely, I wouldn't be knitting them otherwise. So the first one in my beautiful Urban Stitcher project bag, just look at that. This is such a good size. My lovely friend Angie, who is Anululu is her personal account, and the Urban Stitcher is her business account, although I think she's taking a break at the moment. But these are her beautifully made project bags, and this has got this totally fluorescent zip. Put your sunglasses on. Can you see that down the middle? So she sent me this. I think I've mentioned before I made a blanket for her, and she sent me this as a thank you, which was really lovely. Excusez-moi. I am making the Douglas cardie. So another cardigan, because again, I mentioned I've given some serious thought to actually what things I would wear, what things are workable and wearable for myself, rather than just knitting things because they're lovely or because they're pretty, which good enough reason, but then I don't wear them, which is a bit stupid. So I wear more cardigans than I do sweaters, mostly because I'm always taking them on and putting them off. I was going to say it's an age thing, but clearly words is an age thing as well. I'm always taking them off, putting them on, taking them off, putting them on. So if you haven't seen it before, that is the Douglas Cardi. Look at her, gorgeous lady she is, by Andrea Mowry, Knits. And you will also be aware that I am a huge fan of Lolo Did It yarn, which is an American yarn dyer, Lauren, and she put up kits. This was back in beginning of October when this was released. She put up kits and I was, no, not going to knit it, not going to knit it, not going to knit it. Up go the kits, I'm knitting it. I've got all the resistance of, I don't know, a dog with a bone, shall we say. Anyway, I'm so pleased though. I am so pleased. Let me show you the yarn. So it's on the Lolo Did It Divine Yak base. There you go, you can see that. I feel very conscious about thrusting that at your face, but a couple of podcasts I've watched lately and they've held it up sort of there and I can't see it when somebody holds it back there. I need it like right in your face. But anyway, again, age thing. So this is her Divine Yak, which is, wait for it, 70% superwash merino, 15% silk and 15% yak. And it's 115 grams of DK weight yarn and it's a 3-ply, which is my favourite base of hers. Her 3-ply yarns I've raved about before, they're just beautiful. Those of you who followed me for a long time know that I don't as a rule knit with silk. I think silk is something we can live without and I'm not keen on the way it is procured. I'll say no more than that. That said, I do occasionally dip in and allow myself some silk on special occasions and this I couldn't resist. So if you look at the main colour, in there it's kind of a taupe grey brown there. So the main colour is similar. So that's that one. And then the stripes, are you ready for this? We have green, we have teal. Can I do this? Can I be really clever and artsy? We have sort of a, I want to say bramble, hawthorn, no, bramble, yeah, well, whatever. And there you go. Look at those colours. These are just beautiful. And it wasn't a question of promising plenty and delivering little. You look at this cardigan. You just feast your eyes on this, me old Chinas. Look at that. Oh, I can't believe how good. Why am I not knitting on this? Well, I know why. But look at that. Ah, it is so, that's probably better light-wise. So gorgeous. So you've got, this is where the pockets are going to go because it's got pocketses. And it's, I cannot tell you how soft this is. It's baby's bottom soft. It really is. It's, oh, I just want to, I need to finish this. I would love to be able to finish this before Christmas, which if I get my gift knitting done in the next week, then I think I'll be able to do. That would be really lovely. Although I have a Christmas dress and it doesn't go with that, but it will go with plenty of other things. So lovely. It depends on how my shoulder is. So yeah, so that's Lolo Did It yarn, and it's a DK weight, so plenty of options to make it. I actually got myself some Knit Pro Zings, fixed circulars. I'm having a bit of an issue with needles at the moment, so, and I love the colour of the Zings. So, and I'm using 5 coffees down there. I don't want to dunk this in the coffee. 5mm. So, yeah, the Knit Pro Zings. I think the pattern, I did a gauge swatch and I ummed and ahed about excuse me, talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Come on. Come on. I'm getting all the pages, but here we go. Right, I am knitting. What size am I knitting? This is very poor. Second size, because it is designed to be an oversized cardigan. And I'm sorry, but if I wore one with that much positive ease, those of you who know the Michelin man, the little white tyre chap, yeah, that would be me if I wore a cardigan with that much positive ease. So I'm knitting the second size, which is 50 inches. I mean, you know, come on. And I've gone up a needle size because, as I say, I know my gauge. I did a gauge swatch. It's not in there, but I did. Honest. Did I do a gauge swatch? I said last week I needed a prize, didn't I? Oh, yeah. Okay. Don't laugh at the size of my gauge swatch. This is actually a bit embarrassing. This is all I can bear to do. But, see? Swatch is a swatch is a swatch, isn't it? Okay? So I did that. It's enough to give me an idea. It was enough to show me that actually I do need to go up a needle size. So to those of you who are laughing at the size of my swatch, not the size that counts. Anyway, feast your eyes again on that. Oh, it's just, excuse me, it is wonderful. So I probably won't show that again for a couple of weeks because I'm not going to be working on it, sadly. It's good incentive to get my shoulder sorted out, isn't it, though? I have to say. Where can I put that? Pull a chair out there and put that there. Right. Oh, goodness. I've got a chocolate biscuit here, but I think that would be the ultimate in rudeness to start eating that during a podcast. Okay, how are we doing? Good. Batteries still. I remembered to charge the camera, so I haven't got the trailing cable. So, and actually I've moved that chair, so Honey wouldn't have been able to sit there anyway, much to her disgust. But the Christmas tree is going to go there in a couple of weeks, so it is what it is. Right, next. The other sweater I cast on was the Campside drop shoulder sweater. So it's a pullover, and I really like Alicia Plummer. I don't know Alicia Plummer. Couldn't really call us friends, but I love her. I love the image she projects across on Instagram. Let's put it that way. I like kind of who she is as she comes across on social media. So, and I like her designs, more importantly. I've had my eye on either the In Stillness or the Campside for a long time. And then when I saw she does a Campside knit along in autumn, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So, in my, everything in my house has dog hair on it. I apologise. In my Hide and Hammer, is it a Hide and Hammer or is it a Hammer and Hide? Has it got a thing in there? Ew. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's Hide and Hammer. But you're shouting at the screen at me. And then you see I have to look because you can't just leave it, can you? Let's go Hide and Seek. No. Hide and Hammer. Boom. Right, Hide and Hammer in their classic roll top. This is lovely. I really like this. And the thing is, I tend to leave this at home and it sits by my armchair or my chair in the lounge, and I just have it open like a bucket bag or like a basket. So that's how it tends to sit, and that's that beautiful plum colour with dust and fluff. So the Campside Drop cardigan by Alicia Plummer. This isn't a very good picture, and there isn't actually a brilliant picture of any of this style. You can see the Campside, the stitch pattern, because she has shawls and all sorts in the same stitch pattern. But that's the picture she puts on the pattern, which is pretty unhelpful. But it's basically, if you Google Campside, you'll see, okay, it's a schematic. Oh, I'm going to stand up so I can see what I'm showing you. Okay, so there you go. So it's pretty straight up, so it'll be a drop shoulder, and then it starts off with lace yarn overs, and then the yarn overs spread out as you come up the sweater, basically. So I can show you the progress. I cast on the day the knit along started, but again I had to stop out of a break because of my arm. So although I think the knit along goes till December, till Christmas, but I'm not very good. I'm bad enough trying to get my own Ravelry group going. Again, look at this. It's a Birdstreet episode, this one. Birdstreet Yarn. And this is, I think this is my favourite colour of all time that they've dyed. And it's Urban Decay. Looks like merino nylon, 75-25 merino nylon. And the colourway is Urban Decay. So I will show you the colour because it's not what you think. Look, there it is. I have to tell you, this colourway is absolutely beautiful. Hairs over everything, honestly. Can you see that? I can't see whether that's true. I'll show it knit up in a minute anyway. So this is, yeah, Birdstreet UK, Urban Decay DK. Do you notice my little dramatic pause there? Urban Decay DK. Pause. Just so that you can acknowledge the fact that decay and DK sound similar. You're welcome. Right. So, here we go. Let's find it. It's on. I haven't done a lot. I've done the ribbing. And I am alternating skeins, which obviously is advisable with hand-dyed yarn. Doesn't make showing off your projects very easy, but there you go. Try and do it without actually dropping stitches off the needles. There you are. There. Can you see? You can see the yarn over the holes in that, can't you? So it's this minty green colour with brown and tealy blue speckles. It's stunning, this yarn. It's absolutely stunning. Did I just say that about the Lolo yarn as well? Okay, thing to put there. All my yarn is stunning. It's all stunning. It's all beautiful, because otherwise I wouldn't be knitting with it. But this, it's just so squishy as well. It's so squishy. It's going to have quite a lot of stretch, this, I think, because it's superwash. Excuse me. And it's superwash and it's yarn overs. But oh, I want to make this now. I really want to knit on this. Why did I put it away? Because I wasn't allowed to knit. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm knitting this on 5mm needles. I did a swatch, which is probably another huge one. It's not in here. So big, it wouldn't fit in the bag. I'm also using the helical knitting method to alternate the skeins, which actually I really like. I didn't mind it when you alternate skeins and you get that little tiny ridge up the side or the back of the sweater where you switch yarns over. But the helical knitting, it's quite tricky. You can find lots of YouTube videos about it if you're using different colours, when you're alternating colours. It's quite tricky to find one that is just for alternating skeins. But basically you knit in the round. Where's my thing? And this isn't in any way, shape or form a tutorial, just a quick idea of what you do. You knit, so I'm going to knit all the way round. Oh, come on. Right. With this yarn, I'm going to knit all the way round until I get to 4 stitches before where the second yarn joins in. I'm then going to slip those stitches drop the other yarn, pick up this one and start knitting with it. Then I'm going to go round and I'm going to do the same, and basically you then go backwards on your round as you swap. So the swap of the yarn is never in one place, enough to create a ridge of any sort. The only tricky bit that there may well be a solution to this, which I haven't found, and I just you know, suck it up, is that if you're knitting a pattern with this, for example, this one with yarn overs and holes and things, you do have to really monitor on the 4 stitches you're slipping what you're actually doing there, whether you're missing a yarn over or you're missing a knit 2 together or whatever it is. So you do have to be careful there. And as I say that, I wonder, I don't know, I might swap back to just changing on the side seam or on the side not seam. I've got a stitch marker there. So once the second changeover gets back to here, I might swap it back, because I don't really want to have, although it won't show, I know it won't show, but there might be places, there's one there, I can see it. Okay, so this is a good example. So if you can see there, you've got a yarn over hole there, a yarn over hole there. There should be one in the middle there. There's a bigger gap there than there should be, because that's where I slipped 4 stitches. So every now and then there's going to be one of those. Now, I'm pretty easygoing. That doesn't really bother me. I can't honestly think that somebody is going to sit there staring at my sweater, counting the number of yarn overs there are in a round, and say, well, you've missed one there. And if they are, they'll either get a slap or congratulations for being such a dull person that they bothered to count my yarn over. But it's just something to think about if you've got an intricate pattern. It's not so bad with this, but helical knitting might not be suitable. And there's probably a whole train of thought on that I've completely missed. As you know, I'm usually last to the party on these things. So we'll forget about that, but I will just say, again, beautiful pattern, beautiful yarn. I need to get that knit. So, hide and hammer bag. I have my little project card there as well. Right. We good. We're cooking with gas, as my husband would say. Don't really know what that means. Actually, I do. It was from an old television advert from when we were kids. So, there you go. Right, let's all take a breath. I need to do my shoulder rolls to release my neck muscles. Anybody remember the Green Goddess from breakfast television in the UK back in the day? Anyway, she used to do these sort of exercises. That would do. I won't do the others because they're a little bit obscene, because they involve me thrusting my bust outwards, and nobody deserves that. Okay, little quick sock update then. Sock update. And as usual, I have left something. Becky's socks, the Ignite socks that I was raving about last week. I have done the cuff. I have done the trellis work on the cuff. So, in fact, I tell a lie, I've got 1 more repeat, so 8 more rows to do. And then it will be plain knitting all the way down the foot. So hopefully next week. And this is the problem, you see, the price you pay for a weekly podcast means that I'm not going to have so much to show you. Just a bit of a laugh, because I've got way too much to show you. But so they're over there in my whip basket, along with a washcloth that I've cast on that I'm not going to show you. What I will show you is my little Hohi sock bag. I really want the pamper bag, the Hohi pamper bag. I got this from Suffolk Socks. Julie at Suffolk Socks is a stockist of the Hohi bags. She has certain styles, and I thought the pamper bag. Sorry, I just knocked the table. I knocked the pamper bag. I didn't knock it. I wanted to get the pamper bag, but I thought it was too small. I wanted the big pamper bag because I thought, no, the little one's not going to be much use. But my friend Janine, who has got the Sheep and No, I've got the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. Janine, who's got the Faithful Sheep Crafts podcast, has got a pamper bag, and it's in the dark tan that I love. And she brings it every time we get together to knit. She brings it, which is, Jan, that's a little bit mean. You know how much I love that bag. But, oh, it's so lovely. I'm so tempted. I might have to ask Santa to get me the pamper bag. But anyway, this one as well. I mean, oh, it's so lovely. So pretty, this one. I should be grateful that I've got one at all, quite frankly. Anyway, these are my vanilla socks that are yarn from Yarn Cafe Creations in her Gumdrop Nugget colourway. I talked about this last week. I had started putting the heel on, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it looked Christmassy enough. I'd put a really deep pinky red colour heel on. So I pulled out this mini that I had from an advent calendar last year from Lottie Knits. And I decided that was much more festive, and it is. Look at that. Look at that. No, stop. There. So I've done my Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I'm now back to, which I think looks much better with that colour. It really brings out the Christmassiness, the combination of that green. And there's bits of blue in there, which also picks up bits of blue in the sock. And I don't even mind the pooling quite so much with that green there. So really pleased with that. So that will be ready to come down the foot. I'm not, again, rushing at that because I've got gift knitting I want to do. And now I've got 2 sweaters I want to do. So a little tip, though, just as I was talking about this, about winding minis. I'm not a fan of winding by hand. I think the little balls look fantastic, but really causes me to cramp up in my thumb and my fingers. First world problems, right? But if you wind a mini, if you've got a Swift and you know what that is, a yarn winder, you end up, your mini, it loses its tension the minute you take it off because there's not much yarn, so it all spridges, I don't know what that word is, to fill the gap in the middle left by the yarn winder, and then you end up with a really loose, scrappy mini. So what I've done, and this is not rocket science, as we say in this house, the only thing that's rocket science is rocket science. What I do, I wind this as usual on my yarn winder. Before I slide it off, I get the inside of a toilet roll and I cut it. I've got one over there that I cut it to about that. I also cut it, okay. Hold on. Oh man. Oh, I'm knocking everything on the floor now. Hang on. Do well. Okay, I walked all the way over there just to get a toilet roll holder. I might, oh, look even more wonky now. I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to change the camera now. So get one of those, and then don't look because I'm going to use my sewing scissors. I shout at my husband and my children if they use my wonderful sewing scissors for paper. Anyway, you get that and out there. So nobody saw that. Don't tell anyone I did that. So I get that, and then I just make it into a narrower tube. I sit that on top of the yarn winder, and then I slide the yarn off, and it then just grabs it. So you can see probably in there. Can you see in there? There you go. I've got a little bit of cardboard, and it just stabilises it. It works really well. You could, if you wanted to pull from the inside, obviously, it wouldn't be quite so good because the yarn would catch on the cardboard. So it's mostly pulling from the outside, but it gives it so much easier to work with when you do that. So that's a little top tip for you there. Put that in there. keep that bit of cardboard. I'm going to have to straighten up this camera. Okay, see now? This is vaguely straight, isn't it? See? That's good. We're all good. Trouble is, now, I have no idea how long I've been talking for, and I've looked at the clock and I'm thinking, have I really been talking for that long? Surely not. And once again, I'm surrounded by so many things. Right. I think I will share with you my scrappy log cabin blanket. Shall I? No, do you know what? I'm going to leave that till next week. Am I going to leave it till next week? No, I'm going to show you now. Oh, for goodness sake, woman, get your act together. Last year I cast on, was it last year? I think so. A log cabin blanket, which again was going to be a long-term project. Turned out to be a long-term project. Can't honestly remember when I cast it on though. And I used the pattern, again, this was, I think I mentioned last week, influenced by my lovely, lovely friend Cherie from Ollie and Bella podcast. It's not in colour this, it's a very pink knit, it's a very pink pattern. The log cabin scrap blanket. And this was before I think the Rainbow Chronicles started, but I decided to do it in colour blocks. And so you basically, it's quite a really nice knit. I'm not good at knitting a blanket in pieces and then joining it all together because I lose interest. Whereas if I've got something that's growing and I can see it's growing, then when it's done. There's no stitching together. That said, this one, it's really big blocks, so I decided that I could cope with that. So I gathered in a whole load of scrappy colours. And I do remember that several of you from the podcast sent me some colours that I didn't have. So I got some yellows and some oranges, and lovely Magdalena, if you're watching. Hey, Magdalena in America sent me a bag of greys and whites, which I'm actually going to use grey as the outside border. And I wasn't sure if it would work, but I think that might be one of the last squares I do. And so far, I picked this up again a few weeks ago. I just decided that I was going to get on with this. There's 12 blocks that need to be made, and I think I've now got 9, so I've got 3 more to do. I've got one on the needles that I'm just finishing, so I'll show you this. There's lots of ends, sadly. So this is my blue, or dark blue one. So you can see that. So it's all garter stitch. It's a really straightforward pattern, and you basically just knit across that side, then you pick up and knit across that side, and so on. I think the log cabin pattern is a free pattern. Got a feeling it's a free pattern on Ravelry. So I've got that one, and then I have got, I will show you this sumptuous pile of blocks here. I've got a yellow. I've got a purple, I've got an orange, I've got a green, I've got a pink, I've got another blue, but a paler blue, and then I've got a red. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now I've got more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8, so I've got, no, I think I'm missing one. I'm pretty sure I've only got 3 more to knit. Anyway, so I've got all those, and I was knitting on the blue one, and I'm starting to think about putting them all together. And this is, I've used scrap fingering weight yarn held double. So I'm either pulling from the outside and the inside of a little ball of yarn. So for example, this blue one, I'm pulling from the outside and the inside, or I'm holding together 2 slightly different ones. But by the time, this is really good because for this middle one here and this one, you don't need, or certainly this block here, you don't need very much yarn at all. I wrote it down because back in the day I was really good with things like that. Right, so for the centre one I needed 10 grams. So remember I'm holding double. This is fingering weight held double, it's 10 grams. For the first one here I only needed about 5 grams. For the second one, 7 grams. Third one, 7 grams. Fourth one, about 8 grams. Fifth one, 10 grams. Sixth one, I've got 9 grams, that can't be right, must be about 10 grams. Seventh one, 12 grams. And then the biggest one, which is this one, block number 8, was 13 grams. So what I would often do is I might hold that one double with that one to give me an outside strip or something like that, so that I use up the minis. But it's great because you can choose. So you can, if you've only got a really tiny scrap, then you use that for the short one. And then if you've got something a little bit more, so you have to think about which ones you've got and how much you've got of each one. But it's so good to use up those odd quantities. Then what you do is you join it all together, as you can see from there, with a contrasting colour. So I decided, most unlike me, I decided to use a dark charcoal grey. And most like me, I decided to put a border on one now, just to motivate me to see how grey or not it's going to look. So I have just started adding the border to the red one, and I've sewn the ends in the red one. But look how brilliant that's going to be. That grey border is really going to jump out. So I think that is going to be lovely. I'm using 4.5mm needles. I've got bamboos there, but I've got Addy on the one, which is why I'm using bamboo, which isn't particularly very good with this. This is Drops Charisma, and I'm actually, again, it's a bit of an experiment because I'm using DK, because I thought, well, I haven't got any scraps. I needed to buy the yarn for the border, and it seemed silly to buy yarn to hold it double, so I bought it. I bought a DK. And it seems to be, the gauge seems to be working out really well. And then she does suggest you block these. So I'm going to block them to squares and make sure they're all shaped, as she says, with their right angles intact. I'm just checking, I've got a horrible feeling. Oh no, they are the same size. That could have been awkward. And I have here, so I've got another pink, I've bagged up these, so I've got another pink one. I don't know if you can see that, there's a lot of glare. There you go. I've got another pink one. I've got a very vibrant violety purple one there. No, loads of glare. And then I've got a creamy brown one there. And then I've got Magdalena's bag of brilliant minis in there. So I think that's probably, I will use those because I think I'll just make sure the outer borders of the block are in the lighter grey or the white so that they can contrast. So I'm really hoping, I would really like to get this as close to finished as I can by the end of the year, which will segue me in to the next bit that I want to talk to you about, but that is the log cabin scrap blanket. So yeah, mini skeins, scraps, leftovers. You can use huge quantities of tiny quantities, of a whole variety of quantities. How many times can I say quantities? Quantities. I'm not drinking quantity, I'm drinking quanti coffee. Quanti cold coffee. Okay, enough of that nonsense. Okay, let's go back then. Again, I'm going to end up not talking about quilting. I think I might do a separate podcast for my quilting and my sewing. Maybe do that in December. Or if I do Vlogmas, I'll do some vlogging of that because I really want to share it with you and my journaling. But I just seem to run out of time. Of course, I could cure that by not talking so much, but hey, my podcast, I'll talk if I want to. Let me look at my notes. Okay, I'm going to have a make-along, a new make-along. It's going to start on December the 1st. So it's going to coincide with Advent. It's going to coincide with the start of our Christmas Carol read-along. And it is going to be a prayerful blanket make-along. So I've thought long and hard about whether to be a blanket make-along. And to be honest, it doesn't have to be a blanket. But I'm still going to call it the prayerful blanket make-along. So, and what this is going to be is, as you know, and I bang on about it, that I'm a Christian, I'm a committed Christian, my life is so much better for it, it's just wonderful, and I think there's many Christian, I have to say sisters, because I don't think any men watch the podcast, out there, and we've talked before, we've had a prayer group on the Ravelry thread, and it's been wonderful, and it suddenly struck me as I was planning to start a new scrappy blanket that what would be really nice would be to knit a prayer blanket. And by that I mean that you make a blanket, and each time as you pick it up, as you're working on it, you just take a bit of time to be mindful, to pray over your friends, your family, yourself, any situations in life that are causing you issues. You could use it to say thank you as a gratitude blanket, anything like that, where you just spend a bit of time in your heart, in the quietness of your heart, with our Father God, and give him thanks or acknowledgement. You don't have to be, an all paid up, church going, Bible bashing Christian to join in. Please don't think that. I would love for you to give this a try, even if you're not sure about where you stand with faith, and even if you take the time just to knit along and be mindful, and to allow your mind to maybe be open to the possibilities of a great creator, of intelligent design of this world that we live in. So what I'm going to do, for those of you who want to join in, is I'm going to put together a series of prompts of prayer or mindfulness prompts that I will put up. I'm not sure whether I'll put them all up at the beginning of each month or whether I will put them up weekly. I'm not sure. I will do it via Instagram as well as via the podcast. And it will just be inviting you to use those prompts to then lead your thoughts or your prayers or whatever to where you feel they need to be as you are creating a blanket. Some people, because a lot of people already pray over things as they make them as gifts. There's a whole thing of prayer shawls, which is a beautiful idea where you make a shawl for someone. And I know that Amy, who is Noble Character Crafts, and she has a podcast of Noble Character Crafts, she's always making gifts that she prays over, that she gives to friends and family. And it's so inspiring. So I would invite you to do the same. You can either use your own prayer prompts or you can jump along on mine. For the month of December, we're going to be looking at gratitude for obvious reasons. So I will just pop up prompts. You don't have to share anything. You don't, as in your prayers, you can do. I will put a chatter thread in the podcast group on Ravelry, so you can join in that if you want to. But if you just want to say you're going to do it and occasionally post pictures, that's fine. And there will be giveaways and prizes throughout the year. So I would love for you to join in that, to cast on either a blanket, a scrappy blanket, or a wrap or a shawl if you would like to knit a shawl. If you really hate knitting blankets, pick something that works for you. That's absolutely fine by me. The idea is that we come together and, there's power in numbers. That's the great thing. I'm going to be knitting the Coziest Memory blanket based on the pattern by Kemper. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. I think I spoke about that before. I was fully intending to use all my odds and ends and my scraps, but then my good friend Kelly, decided to do a minis yarn club next year called Squiggle Village, and she's writing a little story to go along with these yarns, and that was it for me. I'm such a sucker for things like that. So I'm going to be buying her minis, her set of minis each month to use in my prayer blanket, but I'm also going to be using other yarns as well. Either that, or I'm going to do a Squiggle Village blanket, and I'm going to do another scrappy blanket. Can't decide. I really can't decide. And I must show you these minis. They were all, so that's Kelly's tag, Kelly and Nick Lay, and this is 10 gram minis, 42 meters each, 75/25 superwash merino nylon, and this is chapter 1. And these are all going to look really messy because they were all set out, and each of these has a name, and they're each to do with the characters or the places in Squiggle Village, which is Kelly's made up little village in England, country village. And they're the minis. I know this one, I'm pretty sure this one is called Maggie, which is one of the lead characters. This one I believe is called Irish Roots because Maggie comes from Ireland. One of these is called the, what is it? Oh, I'm going to have to show you these next time. There's a village school. It's something like the Tiddly Squiddly Village School. There's the pub, the church, and Kelly writes a little story to go along with these, and she does an Instagram live each month to tell us the next part of the story when these are released. So I jumped on these. I would love to make my entire blanket Squiggle Village. The only trouble is I have got so many minis, so many other minis I want to use. Does that mean I need to make 2? We'll see. Anyway, that is the Prayerful Blanket Make-Along. It can be crochet, it doesn't have to be knit. Oh, have I been banging on too long? That's my Hannah. Hello.
I got thirsty.
You got thirsty, okay. Well, we haven't had too many interruptions today, so I think that's probably allowed. Are you going to put the kettle on?
No,
Oh, Hannah's not allowed tea. This is seriously shocking in our household. Hannah and I pride ourselves on the amount of tea we drink. And she's gone and got herself a condition whereby she has to cut out or cut down her caffeine. And she's not allowed to drink tea. She's a bit of a sad girl. But anyway, moving on, and I'm going to try and ignore her, even though she's doing very dramatic things over there. Oh, there was a big side. Oh, she did the shoulders, which I need to do for my exercises. Anyway, yes, the Prayerful Blanket Make-Along. That's what we're starting on December the 1st. So if you'd like to join in, sounded like, I don't know about Squiggle Village, it sounded like Tiddle Village over there. Thank you. You're going to run the tap now. Go on in. Oh, hopefully we won't hear her. She's going over to get some cold water. Right, I'm quite disconcerted now. I'm sure, oh, by the way, if anybody is interested, if I do Vlogmas, we will be getting Hannah and the piano back together again and doing some sing-alongs. So, you know, that's lovely, and that's the sort of thing you'll be getting on our Vlogmas. Prayer Blanket Make-Along starts December the 1st. There will be prizes, there will be, I don't know, other competitions, word searches, crosswords.
Prizes?
Prizes. Yeah, not for you though. Bye. She's going now. And hopefully we'll build up a lovely bit of community going on with that. So that's all. Oh, and I didn't say, I forgot the most important thing. I'm going to make that's going to be a joint make along, and I am going to do it in collaboration with my friend heretofore mentioned, she with the pamper bag. Janine from Faithful Sheep Crafts, and she's hoping to record a podcast this weekend, and I will give her the thumbs up to talk about it. So it would be lovely. So I'm not sure we've agreed that she's going to jump on board with it, but we haven't really got any further than that. So she's got a couple of podcasts already out. Do go and watch them. They're great. She's so lovely, Janine. Yeah, that's going to be a collaborative one. And you can double dip, because I also know that Cherie at Olimbella is going to do another blanket and make along in the new year. So you could double dip into that one. So, you know, let's huggle in our community and get making with some lovely mindful blanket projects, or just mindful prayerful projects. Right, I think I better stop there. I am going to tell you about this week's giveaway, and then I will go on to announce the prize winners from last week's. So, and then I will stop. Very well aware again, I've not shown you the new yarn I wanted to show you. Just a bit rubbish. This is probably all going to have to wait till Vlogmas, because then I do it every day and I can just do a quick, this is what I've got, this is what I've got, this is what I'm doing. Right, so this week's giveaway is going to be over on Ravelry. So I would encourage you to go over and join the Sheep and Cheerful podcast Ravelry group. I'm going to put a thread up there once I've finished recording this. If you have a problem with entering anything on Ravelry, then please drop me an email. So don't mention it below. Drop me an email at the email address below with a picture or with your comment, whatever it is that you have to do to enter, and I will add you in to the prize draw. So either enter on Ravelry or email me, please, and that way I know I can keep it under control a bit better. We had a lovely response to last week's giveaway, so I'm hoping to have the same again this week. This week is a little bit different. It's a reverse giveaway. So, you know, we've just had the whole Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted thing, which is always great every year. I actually managed to do something this year, so I managed to grant a couple of wishes, which was really great. But what I'm going to do is I would like you to go to the chat thread or email me and tell me who you would like me to send a prize to. Which of your knitty friends you would like me to send the prize to, which I'm going to show you next. So this isn't about receiving a gift yourself. This is about nominating someone else to receive a gift from you as a, you know, thanks for being my friend kind of thing. Coming up to Christmas, the season of giving, and I thought that would be a nice thing to do. And you're all lovely, so I'm sure you've all got loads of friends you can nominate. You can only nominate one though, I have to say. So just think about who you would like to nominate, put it in the Ravelry chatter group, or email me who you would like to nominate, and then next week before the podcast I will draw the prize. Okay, getting a bit tired now. I will draw a winner, and whoever the winner has nominated for the prize will receive the prize. And the prize will be, it will be first of all this beautiful, beautiful skein of Chiocchia, which I think is a flower, yarn. Just look at that, vibrant, that's got a bit of Surrey alpaca attached to it, sorry about that. That vibrant fuchsia colour pink, and it's got dark deep purple, so it's a variegated, well, tonal really pink, and that's from Stevie at the Curated Yarn Co. And it's a platinum sock base, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon. It's 400 metres. I think that's her platinum sock. She's got actually, yeah, that's right. So the winner will be receiving that skein, beautiful skein of yarn, really stunning. That's Stevie's, that's her logo. she sent this to me as a giveaway last year, and she sent some others, and I never got around to giving this away. I gave away the minis, and she is the Curated Yarn Co. And she has an Etsy shop, Curated Yarn Co. And on Instagram, she is the Curated Yarn Co. at the Curated Yarn Co. I'll put all the details down below anyway. So the winner that you nominate will be getting this. They will also be getting this project bag, which is hand-woven fabric by yours truly. And it's stitched by Gemma, who is the little grey girl. I've shown you some of these before. Hang on, let me give you. So that's Gemma's logo. This is a wool felt base. It's a really lovely, this whole bag feels so lovely. It's got a soft grey suede handle, and it's a zip pocket. It's got a plain grey inner, because obviously the little grey girl made it. It's a box bottom, which means you've got quite a wide bottom. You've got a wide bottom, and it's also got pockets inside as well. And it's sort of deep, really rich orangey yellows. And that is, can you see that? So that's a fabric that I wove with hand-dyed yarn. So this yarn is hand-dyed by a dyer who doesn't dye anymore, sadly. She doesn't dye anymore. That sounds so wrong, doesn't it? She's no longer trading, as far as I'm aware. It's Debbie from Down Sheepy Lane. And yeah, so stitched by Gemma. So the winner, look at that, what a clash. Gotta love that. We'll be getting those two. So that will be a prize. So just to reiterate, if you want to nominate a friend or someone to win that prize this week, it's all about thinking about someone else. So hop over to the Ravelry group. If you're not a member, please introduce yourself and join the Ravelry group. You know, you won't have to, dance naked round a fire and eat a headless chicken or anything like that. Just join the group and introduce yourself, would be lovely. And then go into the thread for the giveaway and nominate who you would like to nominate. If you would like to say why, that would be really lovely, because then I can read out the why, unless it's embarrassing you and you don't want me to read it out. But it would be lovely to see why you would nominate the person you would nominate. And as I say, I will then send this gift out. Obviously make sure they want to receive it and they're happy to give me their address details if they should win, but that will be going out to them. So that's this week's giveaway, which is very exciting. Very exciting indeed. So that's all for now. That is all I'm going to chat about. I have absolutely no idea how long I've been banging on. But it's all good. I've got books. I want to share with you as well. Oh man. I'll be really annoyed if I come to edit this and it's something like, 50 minutes, because then I could have squeezed in a bit more, but never mind. I need to organise my time a bit better, don't I? I really do. But then it wouldn't be me. So, what can you do? So yes, I'm going to now move on and announce the prize winners for last week's giveaway, which was 6 patterns to be given away, 6 sock patterns. So I'm going to do that. If you didn't enter or you don't want to see who's won the patterns, then you can hop along now. Go on, clear off. I would say thank you so much for coming along and spending this time with me. Hopefully you've got some knitting done or some ironing done or whatever else it is you watch while I'm yammering on in the background. Don't forget, think about the joining in the blanket make along that's coming up. That hasn't started yet. We've got the Dickens read along that's also starting December the 1st. Don't forget it's Stir 'em Up Sunday. This Sunday, if you are a maker of Christmas pud, then you need to get your Christmas pud made. And also the Nominate a Friend giveaway for next week's podcast. In the meantime, I hope you have a lovely week. Keep knitting and keep cheerful. Okay, now all of those folk have gone. They're all reaching out, they're tapping the stop button on their videos. I am going to announce the winners of the giveaway from last week. We had a huge amount of people enter. It was so exciting. Thank you so much for doing all of that, for entering, for bothering to enter. And we had a real spread across who liked which socks. I mean, most of you would be happy with any of the patterns. Some people said they're all lovely, but you'd rather knit this one or knit that one. So I think I haven't chatted with Deborah about it, but certainly Angela and Jooles, I've chatted and I've said, you know, an equal number of people loved your patterns. It's really great. They're all going really well. I'm so pleased because they are all friends of mine. So it's lovely. So, oh, a bit of crick in my neck then. That's not good, is it? I asked she who shall not be named, who is sitting behind me there, to give me 6 random numbers. I then counted down on the YouTube comments for the people who I've lost the word. The word has gone. Associated with that number. The people who made that number post on YouTube. So, okay, dramatic music. Okay, hopefully I put some dramatic music in there, otherwise I'm going to be just standing there going, and there'll be this big silence. So let's start with, okay, the 2 winners of the Saint Nick Christmas socks, the Saint Nick socks pattern, designed by Jooles Hill, who is So Sweet Violet, are Linda Plummer and Karen Leopard. So Linda and Karen, congratulations. You have won yourself a copy of the pattern of the Saint Nick socks. Fantastic. It's such a great knit and such a quick knit in DK. You need to grab yourself some DK yarn. I will, what will I do? What's the easiest? I will perhaps contact, if you could let me have your email details or your Ravelry details, I can then have Jooles send you the pattern, or I will send it to you. One of us will send you the pattern. If you need to let me have your email details, then use my email address below, sheepandcheerfulpodcast@gmail.com, to send me your email details, or you can message me on Ravelry with your details. So that's Karen Leopard and Linda Plummer. Congratulations. So the winners of the Gingerbread Dreams sock pattern by Deborah Raymond, who is Candy Shop Yarns and also one half of the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. The winners are Morning Thor, which is Kay, and Karen Sorrentino. So Kay and Karen, congratulations. You've won yourself a copy of the Gingerbread Dreams sock pattern. So please, again, as I said before, message me either through Ravelry as Nicky Winterton on Ravelry, or email me to the email address below and I will send you your free sock pattern. And I would love to see your winning, your knitted pair. I haven't started mine yet. I'll be starting mine very shortly, my Gingerbread Dreams pattern. So we could perhaps share them on the Ravelry group. If you are members of our Ravelry group, that would be great. So that's Kay and Karen. Congratulations. And finally, the winners of the Farmhouse Christmas socks, designed by Angela, my lovely friend Angela, who is knitting on the farm. That's going to Sandra Taylor. Well done, Sandra. Well done, you entered. Congratulations for winning. And Sarah Stanford. So Sarah, congratulations. You and Sandra are winners. You're going to be recipients of the Farmhouse Christmas socks from Angela Knitting on the Farm. Again, I'm going to be casting on a pair of those in the near future. Beautiful pattern, really lovely. And again, very popular. All 3 of these are proving to be very popular patterns. So, as I've said before, and for all winners, please either contact me on sheepandcheerfulpodcast@gmail or on Ravelry, where you'll find me as Nicky Winterton. I will arrange then to have the patterns sent to you electronically, either via email or via Ravelry. So huge congratulations. Well done. Thank you so much for entering. And thank you to everyone who entered, but wasn't lucky this week, but keep entering the giveaways, and you know, law of averages, you're bound to come up at some point when she, oh, let's do the wrong shot, she over there pulls a random number, which happens to be you, hopefully. Right, I really think that's it now. Oh my goodness, I dread to think how long this has been. As I say, so much more to share with you, but you know, I've got plenty of time. Hoping to do Vlogmas, but I will be doing another podcast next week before Vlogmas kicks off, so I'll probably talk more about it then, because obviously I need more to talk about it. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for all your support. Have a lovely week and keep cheerful. Da, 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 da. Right, okay. Hello. Oh. Oh no, am I wonky? Am I in the wonk? I think I am. Hang on. Let me just alter that. I can't alter it. There. Now it looks like I'm sloping that way. Oh, okay. That's it. That's good. That's cool. Right. Here we go.